Today, we are going to be doing a scenario with Kelly, who is a 33-year-old woman who is voluntarily seeking counseling due to concerns of depression related to her father's diagnosis of a terminal illness. This initial intake is being held at a private practice setting to gather information. Hi, Kelly. My name is Jessica, and I'm going to be your intake counselor. Thank you for coming in. Is there anything you need before we get started? We have water or tea?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, let me know if that changes.
Okay.
Before we get started, I want to go over some goals for today and what you can expect. Today, I'll be gathering information to try and get a better idea of why you are seeking services and what your goals are in therapy. I need to tell you that what we say here is confidential. I cannot share your information unless you provide consent. However, if concerns arise for your own safety or the safety of others, I must report it to the authorities. I am also a mandated reporter and must report concerns of child or adult abuse or neglect.
Okay.
All right, let's begin. Thanks for completing the forms that were sent to you before today's session. I understand that you are seeking counseling due to concerns of depression. Is that how you're feeling?
Yes, I've had a lot of these feelings lately.
Can you tell me more about that?
Well, recently, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I have been really struggling with accepting it. I have been crying a lot and started having panic attacks.
Sorry to hear that. That must be so hard for you to see somebody you love go through that.
My friends have noticed that I have been pulling away from them and suggested I see someone. It's just been really hard for me to watch my dad suffer, and I can't stop crying.
How do you feel about your friends encouraging you to see a therapist?
I think it's good that they care about me. They have noticed changes in me that I haven't.
Please go on.
Well, my friend Nikki mentioned last week I look really thin, and I know I haven't been eating much lately. Then I yelled at her when she told me that. I stopped going to her house to play euchre every Friday night. She knows when things aren't right with me. I have never felt depressed before in my life, but right now, I feel like I'm drowning and have to be strong for everyone else.
Can you tell me more about feeling like you're drowning?
I just feel like I can't breathe sometimes. I mean, between all the appointments with chemo and radiation, I have no time to deal with how I feel. I'm so depressed with my dad isn't going to make it, and I don't know if I'm going to continue on with my life without him. I'm sad he won't be able to see my kids grow up, and he's going to miss out on a lot of events in my life.
I see. Can you tell me when these feelings began?
Well, my dad was diagnosed 2 months ago, and since then, I have been in a bad place in my life, in my head, and I'm struggling with the day to day things to do in my life.
So this is very recent then. You said you've been in a bad place in your head. What does that mean to you?
Just feeling depressed, sad all the time. I have no interest in work. I don't want to cook, clean, or talk to my friends. I'm angry a lot of the times and take it out on my husband and other people. I'm not sleeping much, and that doesn't help my situation either. I don't know what to do with anything, and I have lost 10 pounds since all of this started.
That sounds terrible. Kelly, I need to ask you, do you ever have thoughts of hurting yourself or others?
No, I would never do that. I am angry though. I would never leave my kids no matter what was going on in my life.
Okay. I heard you say that you've never felt depressed before. Is that right?
Yes, never. I mean, I have felt sad before, but nothing like this.
Kelly, can you tell me a little bit about your dad?
Oh, yes, he's amazing. He's my best friend, and he's always there for me. He really He is really smart and kind. He's the type of guy that will always look for ways to help other people. I think that's why I'm like that too. He loves my mom and makes sure she has everything she needs. He used to help with me with my math homework. Before he retired, he was a statistician. He likes to go golfing, but isn't very good. He had a rough childhood. His dad died from a car accident when he was young, and his mom had some serious mental health issues. He was angry a lot and got into fights. But my dad told me that once he met my mom, he knew he needed to get his act together if he wanted to keep my mom around. And you know what? He did that. He was the best. I don't know how I'm going to move on without him.
Sounds like a great man and role model.
Oh, he really is.
Kelly, sometimes when we're going through hard times in our lives, it helps if we have a network of friends, family, neighbors, or other people that can offer us some support. Would you say you have a good support system that you can count on?
Yes, I have some close friends, my husband, and some family members. Sometimes it's just too upsetting, and I don't want to talk about it.
I understand. I'd like to ask you, what are some of your goals that you would like to work on in therapy?
I would like to start processing my feelings and not feel angry all the time. I take my anger out on anyone I come across. I know it's not fair, but I don't know a way to channel my negativity and my anger. My husband is usually the receiver of it. He is understanding, but I know it upsets him and it is impacting our relationship. I would also like to start sleeping better. Sometimes I go days without sleeping. I just worry all night. I get so tired. It's so hard to take care of my family and work when I'm exhausted. I've been calling in sick a lot at work because of this. I'm obsessed and ruminate on when my dad will die, where if I will be there, his funeral, and that my kids will never know their grandpa. I want to be able to know I will be okay and he will not suffer much longer.
Okay, Kelly. So I hear you saying that you'd like to work on navigating and processing your feelings and emotions, improve your sleep, and address the rumination of negative thoughts and feelings. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, can you clarify, are you having difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep?
Sometimes I fall asleep until 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I just lay in bed and think about things. Then I have to get up and go to work in the morning.
That must be so frustrating. How are you managing this right now?
I don't know how to.
I see. Are you taking any medications right now to address your depression or anxiety?
My doctor just started me on Zoloft for anxiety. She also prescribed trazodone to help me sleep.
Sometimes it's hard to recognize our own progress in achieving our goals. How will you know if things are getting better?
I won't cry all the time, I guess. I'll be able to focus on other things besides my dad. I'll be able to sleep at night and not obsess about how sick he is and what my life will look like with, with him gone. I'll be more present with my family and at work instead of having to call in sick all the time. I have a few good friends that I can count on, but sometimes I feel like I'm bothering them with all my problems. Some people I thought were my friends have disappeared since all this started. I had a friend named Sophia that just stopped calling me and texted me. She has had a big drinking problem and hangs out with this girl named Caitlin, who's a real bitch. I'm sure Sophia is spending all her time with Caitlin, and Caitlin likes to make people cry for no reason.
Kelly, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's come back to talking about your feelings right now and how I can help you. What do you think is the best way for us to work through these issues?
Well, I think I need to be able to talk about it to get help. I keep it bottled up And I'm worried that if I just start working on it now, it won't get it will get much worse. I want to get myself in a better place mentally. I just need someone to listen and not worry about hurting anyone else's feelings.
I think those are all really important goals. I wanted to mention too, I heard you talk about some of your strengths. I'd like to talk more about those. You have a good support system, you're employed, you're able to recognize your own needs, you have the courage to seek out help, and it's admirable how strong you've been for your family. I'm sure it's been really hard to manage all of these things. And it sounds like you've been taking care of your everybody else but yourself. It sounds like you are doing the best you can for your family and are deeply committed to them. That's something that is very courageous. Not everyone can give as much as you have. That's got to be hard for you with all the extra weight and pressure to hold everyone together.
It is a lot to handle, especially with no siblings. I'm the only one who can help.
I admire your dedication to your family. I think these are all things that we can work on together. Before our next visit, I'd like you to begin journaling. I think it'll help you get your feelings on paper and become a bit more tangible. I'd like to see you next week and talk more about your journaling experience and more about your goals. What do you think about that?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Okay, great. Well, Kelly, it was so nice to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better. And thank you for being so open today. Let's go back to the waiting room and please stop at the desk to make an appointment for next week.
Okay, thank you.
See you next time. Take care.